Morning. Um, what happened in North Carolina to me is just like overwhelming. And it's just crazy. I can't, what I said earlier is, to some people, is I can't even imagine what to pray for in terms of reestablishing a life. What I realized is we all like to be, I like to be, pretend like I don't need other people and to be strong, self-sufficient, and that's all good stuff. But like Western Kentucky, right, Western North Carolina, you can't get in touch with the people there. You can't call them. You can't write them a letter because there's no way you can't even drive the roads into Western North Carolina because it's just underwater and gone. And so when those kind of things happen, which I pray will never happen to anybody here, you realize that you do need other people. You want phones, you want letter writing, you want to be able to talk to your friends and loved ones. And it reveals how dependent we are on each other. And I think it's good once in a while to disconnect and to be alone and think, but not permanently. Not permanently. We need each other. And that's the value of a church. That's what they said. They want, you gather with people that are like-minded, who believe in Jesus, who believe in the next life, as it were, and who want to live this life as people to encourage and build up other people. And so I need that brought home to me sometimes in terms of thinking, is that we are made to be relational. We are made to be relational. People are not a burden. They can be frustrating, but they're not a burden. I'm one who frustrates people, so I say that about myself. But the reality is that we need each other. You can't, and you find that out when you're alone. And so why don't we just take a minute, and of course you pray for what is on your mind and your heart. But remember the people that were affected by the storm. So let's just take a minute to pray. All right, if you would like to recite the Lord's Prayer with me. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Okay. We are going to welcome two people. I don't want to say new people or anything new. Jim and Betty want to join the church as official members. They're applauding for me. They'll applaud for you guys later. And I say the same thing every time. The few times we've done this is what I just said. We are meant to be in relationship with each other. What makes this covenant special is like a marriage. It's part of marriage counseling. When if God and Jesus are the pinnacle, and no matter how far apart we are from each other, as we both reach towards the same goal, we grow closer together. It's just a triangle. And as you all grow, you get closer and closer together. And that's what a church is. And that's what a covenant is. It's a willingness to undertake the same goals with a group of people, knowing that while we are different and while we are apart, what brings us together is as we move towards Jesus. And so I will ask you guys first. Or do I ask them first? I think I'll ask them first. You guys are more important. Oh, did I say that? Our covenant is very simple, but it's very deep if you take time to think about it. Our first component is, do you resolve to love with our other people here? Do you agree to differ with them and that you are different? And then will you unite to serve our community, and serve each other? And it's the same covenant for you. They're entering into a covenant with you. And so do we as a group resolve, that's the second word, promise, to resolve to love Jim and Betty? And this is going to be hard. This next one's hard to believe, but do we agree to differ with them on points where we might not see eye to eye? And despite all of that, and with the resolution to love in mind, will we unite with Jim and Betty to serve? All right, I think we have ourselves an agreement. Welcome, our new members. You can sing.
You'll stand with this morning and sing "Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing," number 82.
Streams of mercy Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Speed Memorial Church this morning. We're happy to welcome Reed and Mary Lynn back home. So glad you're joining us this morning. Let's open our hearts to the message of God's love and grace this morning. I want to congratulate Jim and Betty. Welcome to Speed Memorial. We're very happy you're part of our church family. A few other announcements. Sandy, are you going to join me up here this morning?
Well, I know everybody was wondering how we did on the yard sale. That's a big question. To have a hurricane whipping up wind, you kind of wondered. I mean, Friday, standing down there, we're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with all this room full of stuff? It's still unbelievable to me how much got sold Friday and Saturday. This was the second largest yard sale we've ever had then. So we got blessed in a lot of ways, and when you look around to what happened in the rest of the country, the fact that it rained on our little yard sale, I mean, we should be ashamed we were ever in doubt that we would be taken care of. But our total was $3,772 right now. We've got a few more that are kind of outstanding, no great large amounts of money, but we have gone, we'll be at $3,800, somewhere in that range when it's all done. So I want to thank everybody for the effort. It takes a lot to put that all together, and we had a lot of people that joined in and helped us. We still have a lot to do to clear it out. It's all in boxes and everything, but there's a lot to go out this week. And then while I'm up here, I wanted to explain this arts and crafts workshop. This is something different. We asked like wreaths and trees before, and you took it home and you decorated, you bought the stuff. We have been buying stuff since last year, got it on sale. The Women's Christian Fellowship has paid for most of this stuff, and we even got some items out of the yard sale that we held back. And what we're wanting, when you come on Saturday, we're going to put all this out. I mean, we've got some lights, we've got some greenery, we have got all kinds of ornaments that you might use, and even some centerpiece items that you might take to make something with. So we're going to put it all out down there Saturday morning. You can come in, and if you want to sit there and work on something, you can. We're going to have it open from 9 to 12. That doesn't mean that you need to come and stay there that long. If you want to and be working on something, that's fine. But we might not have a lot of things that you might need, I don't know, all the little styrofoam, things that you might need to make something go together. That kind of stuff is not going to be there. What is still left, we are going to have available. So you can take this home and work on it. We're just wanting to get started early enough that when we have the craft show after Thanksgiving, we're going to have this displayed down there. We want to have some of it done. And then if we sell some there, we'll still have some left when we have the cookie walk and have people bid on them like they have in the past. So this is just getting us started, but we've got a lot. You don't have to pay for what you're coming to get. We just want people to come and help make these items for us to have to show. So it's a different concept. I just kind of wanted to explain to you a little bit more. If you can't make it there Saturday, will it still be available to get to it, to be able to look at it, but we're probably going to have to move it up here to the church where we can store it. So I just wanted to explain. If you got any other questions, just let me know. But thanks again to everybody for all the work that you helped us do to make the yard sale another success. And it's a big benefit to our church to help get rid of some of our debt. So I thank you all very much.
In spite of the rain and weather, I think this was our second largest yard sale total that we have recorded. So we were truly blessed. I'd asked, I don't do this often, but I got the mic this morning, so I'm going to branch out a little bit. Just say a prayer or two for me, because before rumors get circulated around here, because there were a number of people still here yesterday, when we finished up cleanup of the yard sale, as many of you know, IU football was on television, and I was really trying to watch it on my little iPhone. And so I told Becky, I said, it's time to go. And I think we've done everything we can do. So I proceeded to get in the car, start the car, watch the ball game while I'm driving home. And then when I get close to Allentown Road, I get a call. Where are you at? And it's raining, no doubt. There were still quite a number of concerned congregation members that were ready to fill in and take her home, but I had to make a U-turn. And it's the first time it's happened in 53 years. She is still speaking to me, but I before this gets out of control, this is, I'm kind of leveling with everybody. That's really what happened. I was watching the IU football game, so. A few other notes. The church has a new memorial. A new stained glass window has been installed in the hallway that leads to the nursery and the restrooms. It's above the door. The memorial is a 3-panel stained glass window set that was donated by Kevin Wright and family in memory of Jennifer. So take some time and go out and take a look at the stained glass window. It's beautiful. I thank Doug Couch for installing it, and I know he was concerned about handling the glass and putting it up there and hammering. Did a magnificent job, looks wonderful. So we thank Kevin and his family. The Fall Festival is October the 19th from 4 to 6 p.m. and I think they're still looking for volunteers. See David, Andrea, and Caitlin, and if you have any questions, let us know. I want to thank Sandy, Lana, Becky, Rita, Ed, and David. Later this morning, you're going to have a chance to relive some of our memories from the 100th anniversary. So they've put together quite a piece, and I appreciate all their efforts. Donations, we would like to remind everyone, can be left at the entrance to the chapel, and your generosity helps us continue our work in the church community and the local community. Let's see if I've missed anything. I don't see any birthdays this week. Thank you for being here today, and let's have a wonderful service.
It's a little ironic that we're singing this particular song today with the hurricane and storms that have gone through. The name of the song is Till the Storm Passes By. But 26 years ago, I went through a different type of storm. And I was singing with a different group of ladies at the time. And on the Sunday before my surgery on Monday, we sang this song. It was very difficult to get through this song, but faith got me through the song, faith got me through the surgery. So if any of you are going through a storm, hopefully some of the words will help you get through that storm.
Oh, it went off, I think. It went.
Little technical difficulty.
Must go off after a certain time. It's on, it's coming up.
In the dark of the midnight, have I oft hid my face, while the storm howls above me, and there's no hiding place. Mid the crash of the thunder, precious Lord, hear my cry, keep me safe till the storm passes by. Till the storm passes over, till the thunder sounds no more, till the clouds roll forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow of thy hand. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. When the long night has ended and the storm comes no more, let me stand in thy presence on that bright, peaceful shore, in that land where the tempest never comes. Lord, may I dwell with thee when the storm passes by. Till the storm passes over, till the thunder sounds no more, till the clouds roll forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow of thy hand. Keep me safe, keep me safe till the storm passes, till the storm passes by.
Computers need to be fed too. Oh, in fact, shoot. So this is crazy. My iPad normally is a remote for my computer, but I upgraded or did something, to the computer. And now it won't talk to my iPad. I can't use it as a remote. But I downloaded this keynote presentation, and this will make no sense to anybody, but it doesn't matter. Whenever I made a change on the computer, the change would happen on the iPad. So I hit remote, and it says, sorry, we can't talk to each other. We don't recognize each other. And I'm like, you just did it. It just seemed familial to me. We're going to do can and will. And I was thinking about last week. We talked about there's no condemnation. Recently we talked about there's no condemnation. Sorry about this look. I'm such a remote dude now and wireless. But there's no condemnation, and I think this is why. And this is part of it, what we're going to talk about today, how you can say that, because it's hard to condemn when you think about the circumstances of what believers of Jesus, the world that they live in. And part of it is can and will, and what struck me about can and will is I was one of those dumb kids, you ask your teacher or your mom, can I go to the bathroom? And of course, what do they say? I don't know, can you? Like, may I go to the bathroom? And there was a distinction made that stuck with me just about can is different. You're analyzing your ability, as it were. May is, of course, asking for permission, acknowledging an authority. But can and will, to me, are two different things because I don't do everything I can. I do the things that I will do. I don't do the things that I can do. And so I think it's especially appropriate for Christians to think about it. And you're going to see me jump back and forth because I don't always remember what my next slide is. In Romans 10, Paul is writing to the Roman church, and what has happened when he's writing this is that the Jewish nation has rejected their Messiah. They rejected Jesus. They rejected God. And so he is lamenting that fact. And what he writes in Romans 10 is, dear brothers and sisters in the Roman church, the longing of my heart and my prayer is to God is for the people of Israel to be saved. I know what enthusiasm they have for God, but it is misdirected zeal. For they don't understand God's way of making people right with himself. Refusing to accept God's way, they cling to their own way of getting right with God by trying to keep the law. For Christ Jesus has already accomplished the purpose for which the law was given. As a result, all who believe in him are made right with God. All who believe in Jesus. And what I saw about that is they had the can. They didn't understand and they didn't want to partake in God's way of making people right with himself. And so what they did was they refused it. And they would cling to their own ways. And with them, it was the keeping of the law. That's what they were been taught. That's what they were shown. And so while the can was there, they can and had the opportunity for a relationship with God, with Jesus, with God through Jesus. They refused. And they were clinging. And the whole reason for can and will and me even talking about it is an attempt to provide peace to the world. When you see people, you know that they can have a relationship with Jesus. They can have peace, just like us. But will they? Will they? That's usually the stumbling block. It says in this section that a stumbling block was put before the people. And the stumbling block is They didn't understand that what Jesus accomplished and who they were in the garden, in perfect harmony and perfect peace. And what happens is your ego in terms of what validates you in this world is gone. Is gone. See, because it says, Moses writes that the law's way of making a person right with God requires obedience to all of its commands. That's what the law is. It's a way for you to live your life. But God's way, faith's way of getting right with God says, don't say in your heart, who will go up to heaven to bring Christ down to earth? And don't say, who will go down to the place of the dead to bring Christ back again? And I just thought that was always odd. It said, faith's way, the law's way is that you follow its command. But faith's way is, and then he goes into this kind of weird thing about, don't say in your heart, who will go to heaven? And don't say in your heart, who will go down to the place of the dead? And both of them these are attempts to find somebody besides yourself that you can learn from and have an interaction with God with. And what he's saying is you're searching. You're searching. You're looking for something that you have, that has been given to you. That's what he's trying to say, that Christ has already accomplished the purpose of the law. So don't say in your heart, well, who's going to go to heaven and come down so that we can know what this is all about? The world is so confusing. And don't say who's going to go down. Jesus died. Don't try to bring him back what he's already done. See, what you know in your heart is that this is done. You're searching for endless ways, systems, and people, and things that you can worship so you don't have to have it yourself. You don't have to have your own relationship with God. See, your own relationship with Jesus has peace. It has understanding. It has mercy. It has forgiveness. The systems of the world, the religious systems especially, don't offer that. You have to follow their commands. Jesus didn't die just to implement new ways of following commands. Faith's way is way different. You aren't searching for that. You know that because Jesus died and you believe him, you are set. That's faith's way of making yourself, you don't make it. Faith's way is that you are right with God when you believe in Jesus. Done. The tension comes when we all start to try to interpret that and live in a certain way, and we take the organization of the world that we live in and the cultures we live in. We need organization, but we think we need it with faith. As if two people meeting down at Waffle House isn't the same as 2,000 people meeting at North Point. They're exactly the same. If they're talking about Jesus, if they're encouraging each other, and if they love each other and are willing to serve each other. That's exactly what this is. There is no difference. There's nothing to search for. Nothing to search for. It's all right in front of you. Each other. We all need each other. There's enough. Just us taking care of each other and the community is enough without us trying to figure out new rules and regulations to be religious about. And that's what he's trying to say. And it says, but now God has shown us a way to be made right with him without keeping the requirements of the law, as was promised in the writings of Moses and the prophets long ago. We are made right with God by placing our faith in Jesus Christ. And this is true for everyone who believes, no matter who we are. And that's everybody that you can see in this room, just for our sake. If you walked outside, it would be everybody else you see. When you turn on the TV, I can't promise you it's not robots or some kind of weird AI fake, deep fake thing, but I can say that if they are a person, that you can assume that God has shown them a way too, and they can come to Jesus, and they can have eternal life, and they can experience all of that. But will they? Will they? It's a narrow path, Jesus said. It's not open to interpretation. You don't need to search for anything. It says, promised in the writings, we are made right by God by placing our faith in Jesus Christ. You don't need to search for anything. There's nothing hidden in that statement. I don't care what vaults are in what part of the world that have whatever secrets that people think exist. Your reality is that if you put your faith in Jesus, if you have a relationship with Jesus, done. You voluntarily, you agree to unite to serve. You resolve to love. That's all. That's all. We can do this, but the will part is hard. It's hard to let down. It's hard to be a servant. You know? And here's the reality. Through Jesus, we are made right in God's sight. Faith equals through. In my relationships with the world, I'm going to trust what Jesus taught about. In my relationships with each other, what he said in Philippians, I'm going to think of them as more important than me. Because I know God has my back. And so while, it hurts to care about someone else more than me because I'm hungry right now, but it's still better to help them because I know Jesus will take care of me. As Jesus said, the food that I have, you apostles, when he's talking to the woman at the well, food that I have is not bread. It's doing God's will. And this is how we are made right in God's sight. Now, what happens is you categorize doing God's will into some bizarre religious monk-life existence because that's what we've been taught. Doing God's will is doing what you're doing right now. If you love Jesus. What you'll notice is there's no behavior directive in any of these in terms of this is the work you must do. You must love your neighbor because that is our default category. That's the garden. That's not like something new. Like love your neighbor? Who ever thought of that, That's what the world is. That's what life is. And the thing is, I'm going to see what's next. Not yet. You stay there. For everyone to sin, as it says, we all fall short of God's glorious standard. Yet God in his grace freely makes us right in his sight. You'll see this phrase in the Bible 10 billion times. In God's sight, we are good. And that's the thing. It's be thou my vision. Let me see the world the way you see me. Let me understand the sacrifice you made for me so that I can do that for other people. Let me understand the forgiveness you've given to me so I can do that for people. In God's sight, we are whole. For God presented Jesus as the sacrifice for sin. People are made right with God when they believe that Jesus sacrificed his life, shedding his blood. This sacrifice shows that God was being fair when he held back and did not punish those who sinned in times past. I don't even know why I left that in there. If anybody can explain that to me in a reality existential, please do. And if you think you can, I'll just laugh because I know you can't. God did this to demonstrate his righteousness, for he himself is fair and just, and he makes sinners right, what? In his sight. When they believe in Jesus, you're not right by yourself. Your interpretations are not right. How you think God exists is not right. Jesus is right. That's who the revelation of God is. And when you believe in him, in his sight, you become something that you're not. But he sees you. He sees you as right because you believe his son. You believe his revelation of who he was. This is how God sees you. This is how God sees you. Just building sandcastles. Nothing you build will exist forever. If you're under that illusion, I hope I'm not the first one to tell you that. Just sandcastles. Visit some of the towns in North Carolina when the roads finally open up again that aren't there. Or the people, or the families, or the relationships. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. Nothing. So there's no reason to act like it is. This is our time. Our time is right now to have relationships with each other. Our time is right now to love God. Our time is right now to build sandcastles, knowing, and I don't mean this as a pun or any disrespect or flippantly to the hurricane that just happened, but there's going to be a high tide. There's always a high tide, even if it's just called age. Even if it's just called age. Here, I want to show you sandcastles. Clara! No, Clara's not the sandcastle. I said 11:30. Okay, well, they'll be able to see it. Clara! Sorry, you have to see how my computer works. Don't worry, you're not going to see any emails. This is just something, a memory of our Clara! You're my sandcastle. That was supposed to be a Hallmark moment, but I'm going to write one, love on a sandcastle. It's going to be beautiful. Yeah, that's why I called you. We're going to show a video of the 100th anniversary, and Clara wanted to see it. So, but that is a Hallmark moment. Love on a sandcastle. Okay, it should start when I click on this. Sorry, my computer won't download it. There's a million other things.
I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what
Bye, man. I see you. Sandcastles are awesome. There's no expectancy that this is, you know what I mean? That voice in the back of your head that says, tries to play off even the littlest interactions. Like, well, this isn't valuable. Everything is valuable when you're dealing with other people. Everything is actually eternal when you're dealing with other people, and it's the highest level of value when you're dealing with other people. Otherwise, Jesus messed up when he went to the cross. When he didn't have a home, when he didn't have a pillow, when he lived that life. It says, can we boast then that we've done anything to be accepted by God? No, of course not. Because our acquittal is not based on obeying the law. How hard is it to judge yourself if there's no standard to judge yourself by? You're making it up, in other words. And I'm not saying that you work as if you're working for the Lord. You do the best that you can in that moment, that you can. Not that the world wants you to do. You do the best you can because you're doing it for the person, the God, Jesus that you love. You're working for your family. I remember that when I worked in the hotels. It's like, well, I'm not really here for myself. I'm here because I have kids and I get insurance. That's not a standard. That's love. That's commitment. It's not a law. It's based on faith. So we are made right with God through faith and not by obeying the law. It's sacrifice. That's what life is. Jesus fulfilled the purpose of the law. We need I have to always say this. We need self-organization. We need to have red lights. We need stop signs. I get that. I don't want to die on the road because someone didn't ran a red light. But that doesn't make things bad or worse. Your value is not based on the law. Your value is based on that God loves you. And when you believe in Jesus, he sees you as right and you're righteous. That's can. It's all there. You can, I promise you, have a relationship with the God of the universe, with a spirit that created heaven and earth. You can have the peace that surpasses all understanding. This is all yours, and you need to hear it every day. The world can tell you nothing. You can. The question is, will you? The question is, will you? That's the biggest thing. And that's what we can ponder this week until we meet again. You rest in Jesus.